ladies and gentlemen. This is video 2 for the 5 horsepower rotary phase converter. I'm already plugged in here. So where we left off yesterday was basically where we're plugging into this. We'll have 3-phase power coming out of this plug as soon as this motor's running. What I have hooked up over here is it's slightly over a 1/4 horsepower Bonifiglioli motor. It's made in Italy. Over there is a 3 horsepower motor from Granger. It's a compressor duty 3 horsepower 3450 RPM motor. This one's an 1800 RPM motor with a gear reduction on it. I think it slows it down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 RPMs, possibly 60 RPMs. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't counted it. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hook up this other stuff here. What this Rasness is over here is basically a contactor for the control of the small motor, a larger contactor for the control of the 3 horsepower motor. Each one of them is independently controlled by 2 switches and a latch circuit. I'm going to go ahead and fire off the rotary phase converter. We're already plugged in on this side of it, so as soon as that lights up, we'll be having full control over these motors. They will not start until I tell them to start, and they won't shut off until I tell them to shut off. These are latching circuits holding the contactors in, and without much more ado, 5 horsepower is running. We've got 3-phase there. We're going to go ahead and fire off our larger motor here. This is a 3 horsepower motor. That one fires right off. There's no magic on this side of it. All of the 3-phase is being supplied by our rotary phase converter. Once that motor is already started, we can start our slower motor here. And so we're pulling just a little bit more than 3 1/4 horsepower from the 5 horsepower rotary phase converter, and it's happy as a clam. It could run this basically all day long if it wanted to. We don't have a heat issue with the 5 horsepower motor. Trying to run smaller motors, actually the field gets better the more of these smaller motors that you run. The 3-phase, the 3rd phase becomes stronger every motor that you install to it. Now the caveat here is that you can't really exceed the 5 horsepower on it. If you have heavy enough wire and stuff, you could, but it starts creating a lot of heat and stuff like that if you start trying to go too far past the limit here. This is intended to be run on a 30 amp circuit, so technically you could probably go a little bit more, but pushing the envelope too far on electricity can have dire consequences. This particular setup here is pretty much bulletproof. We could like I said, run this stuff all day long. Now we can independently shut these motors off, so I just killed this 3 horsepower motor. We're still producing 3-phase power out of the RPC, and we're still using this little motor just like we would be like running a piece of equipment or whatever. And that's what this is actually supposed to simulate. That the principle being that you could start multiple pieces of equipment off of the same rotary phase converter. If this video raises more questions than answers, I'm more than happy to elaborate. But for right now, this is the demonstration of how this rotary phase converter works by trying to start different 3-phase motors. And as you can see, I can do them independently, and And these motors, they don't act like they really notice a difference. Obviously, there's going to be a slight phase lag from the RPC, but these are not sensitive pieces of equipment, and for their intent and purpose, as they're running, they help with the three-phase field. Thank you guys for watching.